So in part 1, I talked about the Minecraft YouTuber Wilbur Soot having abuse allegations made against him by his ex-girlfriend Shelby, as well as the Twitter response Wilbur gave that most people weren't happy with. Minecraft YouTube fans were so unhappy, in fact, that they went back through Wilbur's catalog and looked for moments that corroborate what Shelby was saying about him. Fangcross on Twitter found one of these moments and brought it to people's attention when they tweeted out, "I want to bring attention to something Wilbur did to Techno when he visited before his passing. We heard from Will that he accidentally hit Techno's bad arm. His parents were pissed, but Techno calmed them down. One apple, right?" Shelby and Techno Dad revealed that Wilbur actually pelted Techno in his bad arm. It wasn't a single accidental apple. Will didn't apologize until he was told he needed to because it was bad. If Wilbur was like this, just imagine what he did to Tommy. He's known Tom since he was 15. If he's willing to do this disgusting shit to his ex-girlfriend and dying friend, imagine what he has done to Tom the past several years. Here he is talking about it. They then linked this TikTok.
So Technoblade has an apple tree in his garden, right? And it's a really nice apple tree. But his neighbors complain that they rot and attract rats. And obviously Techno, with his arm, it's probably not very good for him to be climbing trees and picking apples, right? So I went up the tree and I started doing it for him. I was picking all the apples for him because I didn't want him to hurt himself by climbing a tree while he's just had surgery. So I climbed up the tree for him and started picking all of the apples. So I was like gently throwing them into a bag he was holding on the ground in the garden. And at one point he said that I was really bad at throwing. So I just took an apple and as hard as I could pelted it. I pelted it at Technoblade. And I aimed for like his stomach, but I missed and hit him right here. Right where his surgery was. And my boy Technoblade, he's a champion because he just puts down the basket and just stands there like this. And just waits. I felt so bad. I felt so bad, but also it was quite funny, and he did deserve it for making fun of my throwing ability. I was a goalkeeper, motherfucker. I have a throwing arm.
Soph's art responds to all of this by saying, "I had to hold in my vomit. I've never seen this clip, but the fact that I have not seen the signs is so bewildering to me. I was so blind. I know it's not my fault, but it still hurts." Fangcross responds, "It's not your fault. None of us could see this coming. We were all manipulated by him." Memphis says, "Ew, watching the video is disgusting. He's laughing so hard and the way he says it seems like Techno was really hurt by that." Harvesty says, "Bro, he literally changed the story during the remembrance stream for Techno. There's another clip when he gets asked about it and he says it was an accident, he hit Techno at all." Real Cringe Pill then shares this discrepancy on Twitter by showing both of the clips back to back and saying, "Wilbur speaks about the time he threw an apple at Technoblade. He makes a cover story and tells the original story."
I like threw down at like a better rate and like with more accuracy. And I missed, and I hit Techno right where his surgery had just been, and yeah, that literally is the extent of the story. Techno held his surgery wound for a bit and was like, "It doesn't hurt, it's fine," and then we didn't talk about it again. But the last time I told the story, I think I stressed out too much that he was injured. He wasn't. It was an accident, and I apologize. Literally, the moment it happened, I jumped out the tree and was like. And was like begging his apology so much that he was apologizing with accidentally hitting him with an apple. But yeah, he was fine, and I was very apologetic. And
now going back to Wilbur's response that we read in part 1, Bill 4 responds to him by saying, "Your lack of accountability and ignorance doesn't shock me. I've had to watch you try to intimidate and manipulate my friends. You showed them a similar, if not worse level of respect when held accountable before. You make me want to throw up. Get a grip." Maria Potato quote tweets Bill and says, "You know what's fucking insane about this? Quackity literally opened up about this behavior to him, and then he proceeded to say sorry to Q for that. Imagine how fucked up to think he's not actually sorry about it." Maple then quote tweets Maria Potato and says, "This is from December 2022. It's very clear that Wilbur has always deflected and blamed his behavior on anything other than himself. He acts and pretends to be a child despite the fact he's approaching 30.
You have a fucking dumb face.
I have something I don't like about you.
What is it?
But
I'm sure lots of people do.
I think you, as a person, changed a lot in phases. When I first started talking to you, I feel like you were very... I'm gonna be honest. Do you want me to be honest?
Yeah,
or I
of
can
course. Of
sugarcoat
course
it?
I do.
I feel like when I first met you in 2020, you were kind of rude.
Really?
Yeah.
In what
I feel
way?
like... And you addressed it before. You said I was very sad and very angry. I feel like that's the point where I met you, where you were very. You, there is a quote, and George knows it because I told him to him. He's like, "Oh, BQ, this is the bit where you're not funny."
Oh. Yeah. I do remember that joke.
Yeah, you do. But I feel like recently, now that I've seen you in person, you are very much a different person from that.
I think, yeah, fair enough. I was a shit person, I'll say.
You talked about it with Tommy, and I was in call, and I'm very happy with the person you are now.
Thank you, bro. I'm happy with who I am now. Yeah, I think I'm just terminally online. Is the end of the day.
You're very honest.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I just spent too much time on the internet as a kid, and not enough time talking to human beings.
Same.
And so even into my 20s, you met me when I was like what? When I was 21?
2 years ago.
Well, 2017 was when we first met. But I was like 21 in 2017. I was just a kid still in my brain.
Yeah.
I think, I definitely was a late bloomer. Like probably the latest bloomer ever.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like I've only now understood how human beings talk to each other.
Really?
Like in the past couple of years, yeah. I never, in school, my only friend was really like David, who's like, you've met David.
Ray responds to this by saying, "It's crazy that he says, 'I'm happy with the way I am,' when this was right around, if not a little after, when they broke up." HQ Tubble then makes a little Twitterversus thread of his own, showing all of the responses from big YouTubers in regards to Wilbur, so why not use their research for this video? Their thread starts off with them saying, "List of content creators who talked about their support for Shubble, and or how they won't support Wilbur." Segsnag responds to Wilbur Soot's statement by saying, "A majority of this is full of ways you've claimed to have grown and changed since this happened, but you've basically made what should be an apology of the pain you caused someone about yourself, while barely saying anything else about it, and that speaks volumes." This next response is from Ranbo, who says, "Anyone who tries to downplay or discredit a victim's story for any reason, especially for the sake of being able to watch a creator's content, is an idiot. Support victims before anything else. Always. Take care of yourselves." Next, Tricky as a Birdie says, "Honestly, it's good to admit you did wrong, and it's good to want to change, but being accountable for your actions and actually having a genuine apology for the victim is important as well. This should be about the victim, not you. I really sincerely hope you improve as a person." They then show Tubbo's response, which was a clip from his live stream. Here is that clip.
I was waiting for Wilbur to say anything about anything, and I was informed about this like a few minutes before going live, so forgive me if I don't have my thoughts 100% clear in my head, but I read through it and like, bro, I made me so angry. I actually couldn't fucking believe it. Like, I'm like, holy shit. Like, sorry, it's getting me fucking, Chaz, you don't need to spam fucking hearts, bro. Knock that shit off. Like, no, all I'm saying is like, look, you might think I have a very biased perspective when it comes to it comes to this kind of stuff. No, but like, truth be told, the amount of times I've spoken to Wilbur in private could be counted on maybe 2 hands. And yeah, I'm not biased in this. I think that response was fucking vile. I'm like, how the hell can you make, like, how the hell can like this be about you, bro? Like, I literally don't want to say. I want to make something very clear. There is this is, if anyone in this channel or any viewer in this stream, fucking hell, can I have 3 seconds? If any chatter in this stream or any person in this like community ever thinks about defending domestic abuse or anything like that, or anything in that vein, or anything that fucking serious, all right, you have no place here, and I want you to unfollow and I want you to leave. And I really highly suggest, if you want the full context, go watch Shelby's VOD. Go watch Shelby's VOD, because this is literally not about me. This isn't about anyone else but Shelby. So go watch that. All right? And yeah. And also, if you want more context, I know Lexi did a stream as well, which provided a lot more context. Yeah. So that's, I just wanted to get that out there, all right? And make my position very, very well known. But again, it's not about me, all right? And I can't make that clear enough, all right? And I can't make that clear enough. And I think that response was so fucking unbelievable and was like, holy shit. There is zero redeemable qualities. There is no, like, even 1% of me that would give a benefit of a doubt. Like, that's, yeah.
HQ Tubbo shows that Amesy responded to all of this in a stream clip that was posted by Flaba on Twitter. Here is that clip.
Someone in chat said, why are you getting so involved? Because of people like you who think that this topic isn't important. It's not that I'm getting involved, it's that I'm using my voice to up the conversation. If you can't understand that, and you are too dumb to understand the fact that this is an important conversation that needs to be had, that is not my fault. This is not some petty drama. This is not some Twitter thing. I'm not putting my voice into drama that is just a stupid little thing that's gonna blow over tomorrow. This is abuse. There are victims involved in this, and you guys are treating it like it's Twitter drama. It's not. This is a serious thing. Stop acting like this is something that's gonna be blown over within a week. Stop saying Wilbur is cancelled. He's not cancelled. He's an abuser. He has done shit things. It is a crime. It is a bad thing. This is not a cancel.
420 Blue 420 responds by saying, bro doesn't realize it'll all be forgotten in about a week. Flaba responds, huh? Abuse is a subject that is and should be always talked about and have awareness brought to. Continuing on with HQ Tubbo's thread, they show that CPK responded to Wilbur by saying, I think the focus of what the statement should have been on is totally off. This appears that the main focus is yourself and your growth, and less for the person who was abused. A sincere apology should have been at the very forefront of what you posted. Next, they show I'm totally not Tash saying to Wilbur, just a reminder that this statement shouldn't overpower her story. It's incredibly disappointing that the speculation is true, but we need to be more focused on supporting the voices of abuse victims, not the abusers. Purple responds to Wilbur by saying, disappointing response. Focus on the victim's thoughts and feelings, not your own. Jellybean quote tweets Wilbur and says, what a fucking shit apology. You started off by saying you've bettered yourself as a person, even though you don't take any accountability at all, and you put a little, my apologies for any pain I've caused. You clearly don't understand the pain you have caused, because you referred to the abuse as an allegation. Fuck you. HQ Tubbo continues his thread by mentioning that the Twitch streamer Filza removed everything related to Wilbur from his page, and also mentions the fact that he's the only one with permissions to do this, and his mods had no power to change this. They then show Ant Frost responding to Shelby saying, sending love and support, you deserve all the time you need. And finally we have Jack Manifold's response to Wilbur Soot that he made on his live stream. Here is a clip of that Jay's Berry posted.
You all are aware of the stuff that's went down with Wilbur, as am I, and I apologize that I've been a few days. Will is someone I've known for a very, very long time, and none of my experiences with him were ever... sorry, I'm going to have to turn off alerts for a bit, ever so sorry, hold on. Sorry, I'm not very prepared. I was supposed to go live about 2 hours ago, but I kind of... it's taken me a lot. Sorry. So, yes. So, Will's someone I've known a very, very long time, and my experiences with him have never, or anything I've ever seen of him, have never, ever been anything like what's been detailed. And do not mistake, I stand with Shelby 100%. I support her all the way. I'm not saying it's just a shock. You know what I mean? Like, all this stuff that I've heard over the past few days from not only her, but the people in the replies saying what they experienced. I just didn't know that any of that was going on, and it's obviously been incredibly shocking. So, you know, I apologize for not saying very much, but equally in that tune, given that is the case, I don't really have, beyond saying that I support Shelby fully and condemn what Will has done and his apology for being frankly disappointing. I don't know how to articulate myself further, and you know, I don't know that I ever will be able to do that, to be frank. I have my own experiences with abuse, and quick, I do want to say this, and this is not like a defense, but it's important to me. When I say I have my own experiences with abuse, that isn't with Will. And I keep seeing a lot of speculation about mine and Will's relationship, like specifically sort of stuff around the age I was when we first met and stuff. And he's done some bad stuff, clearly. And I do not think it is a good thing to, like, the attention should be given towards Shelby and victims of abuse generally in his behavior. And it shouldn't be about speculating whether he did other things to other people that might be worse. Like, if people have experiences, wait for them to talk about it. I personally don't. And this sort of stuff I've been seeing around, what if he did this to Jack, what if he did that to Jack, has been frankly very upsetting for me in an already upsetting situation. And I think it is incredibly unhelpful at this present moment in time. And I would like to ask that people stop doing that. It's already very hard for me, all of this. And I absolutely don't like, it just makes it harder. But yeah, really all I want to say is go support Shelby and other victims of this sort of behavior. There's a link flying through chat now to Women's Aid where you can go donate to support that charity. They do wonderful stuff for women who are victims of domestic abuse. And, if you yourself are suffering from stuff like that, there are resources on that website, that very same website, to help deal with that. So yeah, that's all I have to say. And I apologize that it maybe isn't loads. It's possibly all I ever will say. But I am fine, by the way. I'm fine. I'm not, I'm upset and there's a lot of emotions at the moment, but I'm fine. And I appreciate everyone sort of checking in, but yeah, that's kind of all I can say right now. And I apologize that I may not ever say more, but I've just got, there's a lot, I apologize. But yeah, hopefully all I want people to do is send their support in the right direction. And that is sort of it. Anyway.
So Lorex, a commentary YouTuber who has been very critical of the people coming out so harshly against Wilbur, quote tweets one of these content creator Wilbur disavowal threads by saying, "This is the most insane situation of people believing allegations with no proof I have ever seen in my life. This Wilbur Soot situation is 10 times worse than Dream. It's insanity. His ex showed zero proof of anything, yet numerous of massive creators are calling him an abuser. What the fuck is 2024? Jessica Pizzle responds by saying, they are referring to him biting her as abuse. And he did admit to biting. I don't agree at all, but they will just point to that and say proof because they have odd interpretations of what abuse is. Lorex responds, yeah, that's still zero proof though to anyone sane. He said that it was all consensual from his point of view, and she is saying it wasn't. That's all. Literally no proof. Just he said, she said. This is nuts. Omni responds to Lorex by saying, he didn't deny the claims, Lorex. He also said her feelings that he was not following consent were valid. So if he's not denying an allegation after said allegation is made, it's perpetually acknowledging that it is the truth. Lorex then quote tweets Omni and says, so if he's not denying an allegation after said allegation is made, it's perpetually acknowledging that it is the truth. Wilbur did deny it. How did you miss this? He said it was consensual, playful, and reciprocally enjoyed. What are you talking about? And then he highlights the part of Wilbur's statement where he says, throughout our relationship, I understood from our numerous conversations and text message exchanges on the subject that this behavior was consensual, playful, and reciprocally enjoyed. Lorex then continues his thread by saying, Wilbur apologizing for causing her any pain, generally speaking, and that her feelings are valid of being hurt, generally speaking, is not in any possible way an admission of abuse, especially when a few lines above, he denies it. Lol. Why are you ignoring him saying it was consensual? And then he highlights the part of Will's statement where he says, I recognize that this person has processed and expressed feelings of hurt. I want to extend my sincerest apologies for any pain that I caused. Omni responds to Lorex by saying, you quote read retweeting me? You want to talk or you want content? Saying you understand something is consensual isn't denying it. This isn't a perspective thing. Either A, she said safe word and he backed off, or B, she said safe word and he didn't. It's pretty black and white. Lyric's response to him by saying, this is what's black and white. You were saying it is an admission of guilt because he didn't deny it. I then showed you proof that he did deny it by saying from his perspective everything was consensual. That is denying it. I don't know how you don't understand that. Omni responds by saying, I think we are just interpreting the sentence differently. Saying, I understood something as consensual does not equal it is in my opinion. But say she's lying, or she's wrong, or it was consensual. Not that you understand it as consensual. It's odd phrasing. But if he's communicating that it was consensual, and she is lying, it's very difficult to understand that from his message. Lyric's responds by saying, I just don't get how you think it was difficult to understand that he was denying it. 1. Shubble accused him of breaching consent. Wilbur responds saying it was consensual. It's so simple and clear. I don't know how you don't see it, but yeah, we just fundamentally disagree. Omni responds by saying, it's the word understood that's throwing me off a loop. I may understand something as one thing, which feels synonymous with interpret or perceive. That's where you and I see two separate meanings. Either way, I hope Wilbur provides more context, and a clearer statement if that's the message he's trying to portray. It doesn't come off that way, but I see your point of view. So that's about it for the conversation between Omni and Lyrics, but there's some more tweets from Lyrics about the situation that I'd like to read out, like this one where Lyrics shows that Wilbur's statement got community noted and captions this by saying, LOL! Wilbur's response to the allegations by saying everything was consensual based on his understanding got community noted, just cause his ex said it wasn't. Woman's word is gospel and is taken as fact, laughing my ass off. Literally no screenshots. Nothing. Just testimony got him community noted. The community note under Wilbur's post says, Shubble, Soot's ex-girlfriend, stated that they had a safe word when Soot was biting her, which when she would use, he would consistently ignore. Announcing a safe word is the withdrawal of consent, and biting without consent is physical abuse. Lyrics also tweets out, there are thousands of people, including huge creators, saying that Wilbur Soot admitted to abusing Shubble in his recent response. This is literally just a flat-out lie. Wilbur apologizes if he ever caused any pain to her generally, and deliberately says the biting was consensual. He then highlights those two parts of his statement. These people are just completely ignoring his response of saying that his actions were completely consensual. Saying I'm sorry for causing someone pain is not in any way an admission of him that he abused her, especially when he literally says a few sentences up that he didn't. Nicholas Diorio responds by saying the biting was consensual, showing a picture of Mike Tyson. Liz responds to Lyrics by saying, if she was telling him to stop and he was ignoring the safe word, then it wasn't consensual? Dextero tweets about the situation when they say YouTuber Shubble called out her ex-boyfriend for excessive biting, labeling it as abuse. Fans were quick to point fingers at streamer Wilbur Soot, who shortly after released a statement to claim the biting was consensual. Karina quote tweets this and says, who wrote this article because this is so badly written? It's not labeling it as abuse if it was abuse. Lyrics takes a screenshot of Karina's tweet and captions it by saying, 22k likes on a post shitting on Dextero for reporting allegations as allegations and not fact. Shubble's words literally cannot be questioned online without people saying shit like this. Dude, this is a Black Mirror episode or some shit. What the fuck? Soko responds by saying, why is it every time I see you on my feed, you have the worst takes? The next day, Lyrics continues tweeting about this when he says, calling Wilbur Soot an abuser criminal isn't good enough for these creatures on Twitter. Now they are insinuating he's some creepy pedo for being friends with other creators when they were minors. Namiki mentions how they met when she was freshly 18. What the fuck does that mean? Laughing my fucking ass off. He then, as I mentioned, shows 4 tweets, with this first one being from someone called Alex, where they say, I just came to a realization and I don't know if I should say it. They then quote tweet themselves and say, it got me thinking, not only has Wilbur known Tommy, Tubbo, Rambo, etc. when they were young, Quackard and him have been friends or were for 7 to 8 years now, so Quackity also met him when he was young, literally 16. There's repeated history of him friending minors. It's so gross. This next tweet Lyrics shows is from Mari, who says, Tommy was 15 when he met Wilbur. He was around 23 years old. He always looked up to him, saw him as an older brother, so don't pressure him to talk. Also, there's videos of Wilbur acting aggressive towards him. Their friendship was always weird. Wilbur had a weird codependency on Tommy. It's only fair to extend some sympathy towards him right now. He already stated his support for Shubble, and then Mari attaches these 2 clips.
You actually just caught my nail.
I get out the shower at fucking 5 p.m. after laying in bed for 3 hours on my phone, and the only reason I'm getting out of bed and going to my computer is because Tommy in it has said, come talk to me. He's my best friend. He's my best friend, and I used to tell him how depressing that was that I'm best friends with a 16-year-old, but it's not depressing. It's not depressing. He's a fucking legend, Tommy and is. Pish Posh, you don't give him 5 subs. He's a fucking legend. He deserves every bit of success in the world, and I've said that from day one. You can fucking look at interviews with me from fucking day one when he had 100k subs.
Anyways, moving on to the third tweet Lyric shows. It's from Lucifer the First, who says, Tommy was a child that Wilbur used as an emotional crutch, wingman, and more behind the scenes. A person who we have video evidence of Wilbur asserting physical force against. You can dislike him all you want and for valid reasons, but this take is rancid. And then the final tweet Lyric shows is from Nikki, who says, I see that people expect me to say something about the situation. The truth is that I was freshly 18 years old when I met him. While I did not see a problem with it back then, I can now see how harmful he was to my young self and how damaged I am from that time. My time in the UK had some of the darkest moments of my life, and I think people can tell from the way I used to act on stream. I still can't think too much about everything that happened back then without shaking, and I don't want to. I always felt so unheard whenever I brought up any situation regarding that time. I don't want to say more as I don't want to make this situation about myself. Black's K-Gem responds to Lurex by saying, because the exploitation of age between adult/teenager friendships is when it is abusive. She is pointing out that the age dynamic played a part in the power/influence Wilbur had. It isn't insinuating pedophilia. That is when prepubescents are involved. This is age dynamics. Anyways, Subble made a response to this entire situation and all the support she's been getting, and I read that off in part 1. Lurex responded to it by saying, Subble has released a new response to Wilbur's statement, saying that he is lying that he has text showing that the biting was consensual. A big claim to make that could backfire very bad for her if Wilbur shows proof of text. So Wilbur Soot, show the proof, dude. Where is it? Lurex continues to receive criticism about his takes on Twitter when Pansexual Panic tweets out this screenshot of a Lurex stream titled, Wilbur Soot accused of abuse by insane ex-girlfriend, but she's nuts! And a comment on his video saying, insulting an abuse victim who spoke out is truly innovative drama commentary. Pansexual Panic comments on all of this by saying, oh, ew. Prevail responds by saying, it's an hour long? Actual yap session. Pansexual Panic responds, sipping that yappuccino. Rain responds by saying, I wouldn't expect better from a guy siding with Too Mad. Pansexual Panic responds, he did? Laughing my ass off. Lord G-Man responds, searched it up just to dislike it. Pansexual Panic responds, so base. The Idiot Man 3 responds, please also don't forget the thumbnail, showing that the thumbnail of the video is Wilbur next to Shelby in the text, dumb bitch! Lyrics responds by saying, clearly you and many others have very big disagreements with my take on this situation, so would any of you with an opposing opinion be down to have a conversation about it on stream tonight? To explain why you think I'm wrong? Let me know. My Discord is Lyrics lol. Pansexual Panic responds, BB, no one is talking to a domestic violence apologist. I'm sorry, a lot of his ex-friends came out and confirmed it, through which you conveniently scrolled past during your live stream. Do some level of research before you speak on something, and maybe then people would like to talk with you. So Lurex has been getting a lot of attention on Twitter for his Wilbur Soot takes, with the most attention he got coming in the form of this tweet, where he shows various responses to Wilbur from creators like Dream and Tommy Innit, and captions it by saying, remember all these huge creators with millions of followers calling Wilbur an abuser and supporting his accuser with zero proof of anything. Hunter then quote tweets Lurex and says, you are telling me that people that know Wilbur and Shelby behind the scenes have infinitely more insight than you showing sympathy for her? Wow, who should I possibly support in this situation? This is what happens to your brain when you watch commentary YouTubers. Put down that Turkey Tom, brother. Pika Clicks responds by saying, genuinely baffled that he thought his input was valuable in this situation. Lol. Like, who are you, bro? Why would you know better than people actually involved in the space? Lurex responds to Hunter by saying, Wilbur does not admit to abusing her at all, but I've been looking for people to talk to about this on stream, and you seem to disagree heavily, so you want to have a convo about it? Lurex also quote tweets his response and says, you are completely clueless about this situation. You first claimed that Wilbur admitted to abusing her, which is just a flat out lie, but you seem pretty confident in your beliefs, so you down to have a convo about it? I assume you missed my first tweet I made at you lying the first time. Hunter responds, no, I saw it. I was ignoring you. I'm assuming you just want me to debate you on the validity of my friend's abuse, instead of listening to her and the people around her that witnessed her abuse, so I'm not gonna do that either. And that's about it for the discussion on Twitter surrounding Wilbur Soot. If anything more comes up, I'll be sure to update you on this channel, so if you don't want to miss that, be sure to subscribe with notifications on, and share any thoughts that you have on this situation in the comment section below. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.